Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host with the biggest nose, JC Courtside, coming at y'all today on Monday, December 8th. Pretty soon here, y'all. I'm never going to forget the day. I'm actually going to go live with these podcasts and remember the day that we are streaming on. And right now I'm on like a 3 or 4 stream streak. So let's get this one started, y'all. Today is a fun and exciting episode. Fun for some teams, depressing for some, but that's the beauty of sports. You know, when we all tie our happiness and our mental health to a basketball team, it's either a good weekend or a bad weekend. You could have won hundreds of dollars. You could have gone to the casino, gone to a bar, gone to some parties, hung out with friends and family that you haven't seen in years. But if your favorite basketball team lost over the weekend, all of it will have been for nothing, because come Monday, the party's done, the fun is done, you're back to work, and your team went 0-2 over the weekend. But before all of that, we got to talk. Let's go over with what we're doing on today's episode. We're going to talk about a certain injury that happened yesterday and what the cause and effect is going to happen from there. We're going to talk about a big night from an old player last night, who I think took a trip to Germany in a 24-hour period. And then we are going to go over our winners and losers from our NBA weekend, y'all. You already know we do it every Monday, where we got to talk about what happened, who won, who lost, who's feeling it, who's not. All right. So to start off today's episode, let's talk about the Orlando Magic. It's been a minute since we started with the Magic, so that's what we're doing in today's podcast, guys. Before we start, be sure, podcast listeners, leave a 5-star rating and review. Live crew, shout out all of y'all. In case you guys forgot, we do these podcasts live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. TikTok, be sure to drop some likes. Follow YouTube, drop some likes, subscribe, and Twitch. All y'all got to do is be handsome and have fun. All right, here we go. Let's talk about the Orlando Magic. In case you guys are unaware, if you're a Magic fan, your weekend was ruined. Your week was ruined. And until you see that Shams tweet, you just don't know what to feel at this point. Because all Magic fans right now are thinking about one thing, and that's Franz Wagner. Now, December 7th, 2025, yesterday, Franz Wagner went down with what looks like a bad injury. Now, it's definitely knee related. It could be a hyperextension. It could be an ACL. Let's go over the possibilities here. If it were a meniscus, he's out for the season. If it were an ACL, he's out for the season. If it's an MCL, he could be back before playoffs. Let's think it's a hyperextension, because that's what Magic fans are sort of clinging to right now. They're all sitting in a prayer circle and hoping that it was just a hyperextension. Now, I'm here to tell you that's a real possibility, because in case you guys didn't see, Franz Wagner walked out of the arena with a cane, but he was still walking. He was putting pressure on that leg. So that's great. That's great news. That is great news that he was walking out of the arena unassisted by anybody. He had a cane, which sucks, but he was still walking. The point being is, if he was in a wheelchair, you cry. If he had crutches, you're concerned, but he was walking. Franz Wagner was walking with a cane. And I think that alone should be what Magic fans are looking at. Now, I was on Twitter and I was seeing, oh man, Huck Porty for the Knicks was that was a dirty play. That wasn't a basketball play. That was dirty. How dare he? That's rich. I'm sorry. That's rich. Because Magic fans, there's a team in the NBA right now that leads in injuries against them. The Orlando Magic have the most injuries against them in the NBA. Couple important ones that I can think of off the dome. Remind me if I'm missing any. Jaden Ivey last year, Cole Anthony dove into his leg. Like, actually dove into his leg. He wasn't going for the ball. He just dove into Jaden Ivey's leg and snapped it in half. Okay? Remind me of some more recent ones, because they do lead the NBA right now in most injuries happening against them. Huck Porty, I'm going to stand up for my Knicks. He went for the ball. He got the block. It was just the after effect is what got Franz hurt. He had his leg caught up underneath him, and that's what happened. Now, as far as the Magic go, I am not going to sit here and tell y'all like the season's over, right? It's not over, because we don't know what the diagnosis is yet. But what I will say is December 7th, there's a reason why I emphasized that date when I started the segment. And it's because December 7th of 2025 is when he just went down, which was yesterday. But December 7th, 2024 is when Franz Wagner had a torn oblique. So there's something about December 7th that I think the Magic should never allow Franz to play again, because that's 2 years in a row where he had a torn oblique, and now we don't know what this is, but we can call it a nasty knee injury. Now, as far as the Magic go, I'd like to just point out a pattern as well. The season last year, right? By the way, I'm going to pause real quick and just let y'all know. Oh, yeah. Also, Pearl Harbor happened on December 7th. That's right. People in the TikTok chat, they're all talking about different teams. They're talking about the Warriors. They're talking about the Bulls. They're talking about the OKC. They're talking about the Heat. They're talking about a bunch of teams over there. Guys, today's going to be a very fun podcast. Do not go anywhere, because we're talking about all those teams that you guys just mentioned. But right now, we're still talking about the Orlando Magic. So last year, Paolo Banchero went out with I think, was it an oblique injury? Paolo Banchero went out with an oblique injury at the start of last year, like a few games in. And then when they got him back, they also lost Franz Wagner. So they got Paolo back last year, and then Franz Wagner went out. And then they had to play without Franz Wagner, and the team sucked because Paolo Banchero is not a number one option offensively for a basketball team. And now they're going to have to do it again, but this time with Paolo on a minutes restriction. I'm sorry, and I've said this plenty of times, Franz Wagner is the most consistent player on the Magic offensively and defensively. Paolo at the start of last year was honestly prolific. He was much, much better than he is this year. You know, a lot of people are saying, like, what players are taking a big leap? You know what I mean? What players are taking a big leap this year? People are arguing Scotty Barnes. Numbers are relatively the same other than his three-point percentage, but that's a big improvement, right? People are arguing Paolo Banchero. You can argue that all you want. That's not true. People are arguing Franz Wagner. Close. But I think overall right now, when you need to look at this Orlando Magic team, you need to make a decision here, because unfortunately, let's just bring up both possibilities here, ladies and gents. Let's bring up both possibilities. Let's start off with Franz Wagner's out for the season. The worst case scenario for the Orlando Magic. Let's say he's out for the whole year. Let's just say that. I'm not manifesting that, but let's just say that. That's another year of this Orlando Magic core that you're not going to see Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner play on the same court. On top of that, a guy that you traded 4 first-round picks for in Desmond Bane. Now, I think we can all agree that this team without Franz Wagner is probably a play-in team, because the East is better than we all initially thought. They're a play-in team. With Franz, obviously, we know that they're a playoff team. Now, I wouldn't say it's time to panic and press the panic button, because they're young. That's the biggest thing. Franz Wagner is only 24. Okay, he'll be 25 next season. Paolo Banchero, I believe, is 1 year old. He's 1 year younger, 23. Okay, so they're still young, right? Desmond Bane, I think, is in his 27. He's same age as me. I'm actually a couple months older than him. So what you need to see if Franz Wagner is out for the entire season is, okay, can we all be healthy next year? And see how it goes. Now, if my track record serves me correct, I don't think Paolo and Franz have ever had a full healthy season together, which is something that we obviously all want to see. but it just hasn't happened yet. It has not happened. And that's concerning because if your top two guys are missing games as frequent as this, that's very worrisome. Now, this is really sad. And if I were a Magic fan, I would honestly be very, very depressed right now. Because last year was their year of like, let's see what we got. More injuries. And now this year was like that year where we're taking that leap. We got Desmond Bane. We're good. Now what? That's if Franz Wagner's out for the whole year. There's zero hope now if he's out for the whole year. Now, let's say best case scenario is just a hyperextension, y'all, and he gets back. You're unfortunately looking at the same thing that happened last year. You get Franz back towards the tail end of the year. Palos tries to carry, but now it's a little bit different, ladies and gentlemen, because it's not Paolo carrying this team anymore. It's Desmond Bane carrying this team and Paolo there to help. And once they realize that, this team could make, they could take a couple games. They could make the playoffs, I think. I think it's a playoff team still with Desmond Bane at your helm and Paolo Banchero being his right-hand man. Because I've said this 100 times, guys. Franz Wagner is their 1A. Paolo Banchero should be their 1B. But with the way that they were playing together, it's the other way around. And that's not the way it needs to be. Paolo Banchero cannot play off ball, okay? Now you just eliminated one of your best player in the league. So now how is this going to look with Paolo Banchero? It's very worrisome, guys. It's very worrisome. They're already without Franz, this is tough. It's tough. We will be talking about the Knicks later. I'm not going to be talking about the Knicks in this segment. Be sure to stick around, guys. We got a lot of other teams that we got to talk about. Like I said, we got winners and losers. We're ending the podcast today with winners and losers. I think when you look at the standings in the Eastern Conference right now, the Magic are 5th, right? And that's with that incredible run that they had with Franz Wagner and without Paolo Banchero, right? I know Magic fans right now want Paolo to make that leap, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I just don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, let's just look at this real quick. Like, you have some teams that I believe are still going to jump the Magic and the Cavs and the Heat, even the Hawks, maybe. Especially now without Franz, especially now. I feel like they're going to get leapfrogged, and we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. Poor Franz, poor Magic fans. If you know a Magic fan, hug him. I think we got one or two Magic fans in our Twitch stream, so shout out to you. But yeah, man, this is what's happening. It's depressing. It truly is depressing. If you are a Magic fan, be sure. If you guys need some comfort, if you guys need to talk to people, join the Twitch stream, because the Twitch stream is where we all get along, where you can get comfort if your team sucks. You know what I'm saying? That's what I always say. The Twitch stream, nobody's going to insult your team the way that TikTokers do or anybody else does. So be sure to swing on into the Twitch stream. Okay? Well, now that we talked about that, let's go ahead and talk about my king, LeBron James, saving the Los Angeles Lakers in a huge win in Philly against the 76ers. He went off for 29 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 12 for 17 from the field, and 4 for 6 from three-point land. I mean, can we just be real for a second? Can we just be real for 1 second? Did bro go to Germany that I wasn't aware of? Did he go to Germany? He didn't. He was at the Celtics game when the Lakers lost, right? Guys, after this, we're going to be talking about the winners and losers, okay? But for now, let's talk about this Lakers win and the Phillies loss, okay? He had 11 straight points in the fourth quarter. There was a point when they were giving the ball to Austin Reeves, and it was like, no, not tonight. Austin Reeves is having a bad night. It's deserved. It's okay. He's been going crazy all season. He's been averaging 29 points. He shot 3 for 16 tonight. Give the ball to LeBron. And it's like they didn't want to. What I will say about Luka Doncic, he's not used to feeding the hot man at all. Have you guys noticed that? And I think it's because like Luka Doncic hasn't really ever had like a hot teammate, right? If it's a hot teammate, it would have been Kyrie Irving. But Kyrie is the one that would be bringing the ball up if he's hot. Luka's never really had to set up somebody that's having a good night. And last night, it didn't really look like he wanted to. Gafford is a very hot individual, yes. But at basketball, not really. So what I'll say about the Los Angeles Lakers is obviously Luka landed back from Slovenia. He, I guess his second daughter, or second kid, I don't know what gender, was born. And, you know, he just got back to he just got back to America and played in this game and still managed to drop a 31-point triple-double, which is just incredible, right? Can we all just give credit where credit is due to head coach JJ Redick? Guys, he's good. This isn't just another LeBron coach. This guy's good. JJ Redick knows ball. JJ Redick has passion. I think, dude, honestly, JJ Redick could be a head coach for like a long, long time. Honestly, I don't want to get ahead of myself, guys, but JJ Redick could arguably be one of those coaches that we reminisce about when we're old. I'm being so serious right now. He could be one of those coaches, like an Eric Spoelstra, who's never won a Coach of the Year, like a JJ Redick. Like these young guys, he really could be one of those guys because, I mean, let's look at Ty Lue, right? David Blatt, right? With all due respect, Mike Brown. These LeBron coaches seem to just be LeBron's the coach and everybody else. You know what I'm saying? But JJ Redick actually is a great ball knower so far. Okay. Now, staying on the topic of basketball, LeBron looked young. I'm sure you guys saw. If you guys watched this game, LeBron looked young again here. He looked young. And it looked good. He hit 2 back-to-back. He hit a clutch 3 and then a step back midi. LeBron was spamming emotes like it was Fortnite. He crowned himself like 4 times, and then he still did his whole crowd silencer. So I know LeBron was hyped off his ass, and he deserves it. It was definitely like he's already dropped 25 points in a game this year, but this one was like one of the most iconic LeBron James games that we've had this year so far. It looked like he had a little pep in his step, y'all. Didn't it? It looked like he had a little pep in his step, not like the other games. All right, finished my coffee. I'm ready to get rolling, y'all. Obviously, we know Austin Reeves didn't have a good game, but it's okay. It's okay. He deserves a night off. No bench production. If you were to just look at the box score, that's why I don't like box score watchers, because if you just looked at the box score, the Lakers lose this game. Now, I want to talk about a special somebody on the other team, okay? Guys, I think I'm done. I think I'm done. I can't do it anymore. Joel Embiid. I think I'm done. I've been out all year, but I can't do this anymore, man. They're increasing his minutes restriction. He played 30 minutes last night, and he was the worst player on the floor. Joel Embiid had 16 points, and he shot 4 for 21. 0 for 6 from 3. Now, every single one of his shots was short. Every single one was short. He's got no lift anymore. On top of that, if you guys watch this game, please watch this game, okay? Go back and watch it. Every time Joel Embiid had the ball, his one goal was to go to the free throw line. Every single play. He was not trying to score. He was trying to get fouled. He still managed to get 8 free throws, man. 8 free throws. And he was not trying to score. Over and over and over again. He was flailing his arms. He was throwing his head back. Bro, I'm sorry, But if that's all you're going to bring to this team, sit out. There's no point. And, you know, I saw a comment just now on the TikTok saying, he said he's giving so much to the city. At a certain point, you need to understand when it's time. And I don't want to be 40 years old or 50 years old and Joel Embiid is in a wheelchair for the rest of his life, to be honest. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see it. This is Tyrese Maxey's team. I think at some point he needs to recognize that it might be over. I can't watch him anymore. It's sad. It's really sad. You know, Embiid, I may have not liked Embiid at the start of his career because it was trust the process, right? But that peak of Embiid was an incredible sight to see. He's a great player. That peak is up there. Might be one of the shortest peaks in NBA history, but he was that dude. Now, guys, I want y'all to understand something, right? When something I really want to point out to anybody that's like new listening, new watching, whatever platform you're on, I just want to let y'all know the way I critique basketball is purely basketball. I keep their personal lives out of it. I talk hoops, right? I keep my biases to the side and I talk hoops, right? Because I enjoy basketball, okay? So I want everybody to understand I am not a guy that has an agenda. I don't have a secret agenda about any of these players, any of these teams. I don't watch and hope that somebody has a bad game. I want to watch good basketball on every team, right? So every time I turn on the TV and I'm flipping through NBC, Peacock, NBA League Pass, Prime, wherever I'm watching, I'm hoping to watch good basketball. Okay, so when I give my takes on this stuff, it's not because I have a hidden agenda. I've been waiting. I'm a hate watcher, because that's the definition of hate watching. I go to enjoy the sport of basketball. And last night, when I was watching Joel Embiid, I was not enjoying basketball. I was enjoying basketball on the other side. But when I watch Joel Embiid, it makes me sad because it's like, this guy obviously wants to play. He wouldn't still be doing this if he didn't want to play. He wouldn't be destroying his body for the rest of his life. You get one body, y'all, and he's damaged. He is very hurt. This is Tyrese's team. Man, they're still paying Paul George, by the way. That's insane. Yeah, man. The Lakers, LeBron James clutched up, and it's sad. It's truly sad. Yeah, Embiid's got no lift in his legs anymore. It's very, very upsetting. Let's go ahead and move on to our winners and losers, y'all. We're in our final segment of today's episode, but this is probably going to be a pretty long segment. Okay. So guys, strap in. If you guys are watching the live crew, be sure to drop some likes, subscribe. If you're on TikTok, keep spamming that like button, drop a follow. And if you guys do want to join a basketball oriented community, be sure to join the Twitch stream. The link is in my bio. TikTok. So it's honestly where I read the most messages and where we talk and where we hang out. So if you're a fan of basketball that you don't have, honestly, not many people in your life share that same passion that you do have for basketball, make sure you join the Twitch stream because we got a lot of passionate people with basketball in here. Okay. I assure that you guys would enjoy it much, much more than being in the TikTok. All right. My first winner of the weekend is the Boston Celtics. I was right. I called it. It's not happening exactly how I imagined it, but I was right. My first winner of the weekend is the Boston Celtics. Winners of 5 straight, by the way. 5 straight. The Boston Celtics. All carried by my man, Jaylen Brown. I said it at the beginning of this year. I said that Jaylen Brown is going to take a massive leap. I don't care what anybody says. He's going to take a massive leap. Guys, I hate going up against the Boston Celtics. And honestly, I was very depressed when the Pistons lost to the Boston Celtics. They got their 13-game winning streak ended because the Boston Celtics decided to hit 22 threes against us, right? But that's just what they do, man. That's what this team does. Over the weekend, they beat the Lakers and they beat the Raptors. I hate the Celtics. And watching Jaylen Brown is such an enjoy. Like, dude, I'm sitting here watching this guy go crazy. It's like every game he has a bad quarter and then he's got a great 3 quarters. He's averaging 29 points per game, and his game is just so beautiful right now. His handle's gotten tighter. He's looking better from 3. His shot creation's been awesome. He's been hooping, man, and I love to see it. Hugo Gonzalez has been great for them. Neemias Queta has been a great surprise. Derek White is finally waking up. 27 points last night. I think we can all agree Peyton Pritchard is not a starting point guard. Pritchard's been bad. Pretty much all season, Peyton Pritchard has been bad. But Jaylen Brown, he's been solid all year. He's going to be an all-star for sure. Derek White, he's been horrible, but he's stepping up. And guess what? His first good game was against the Pistons. So the Boston Celtics are definitely my number 1 winner of the weekend. Dude, they are, yeah, besides that 42-point game from Peyton Pritchard, it doesn't matter. The rest of the games, he's been absolutely mid. And that's somebody who is watching almost all of these games. The Celtics are 3rd seed. They are the 3rd seed in the East. After beating the Raptors yesterday. It was a full game swing because they beat the Raps. The Celtics are the 3rd seed. I said that they would probably be the 6th seed at the end of the season, and I think that still sort of holds up unless Franz comes back. I think they could stay in that top 5 region. You know, my Heat fans will tell me different. But I think they could stay somewhat up there. They really rely on their threes. As you guys can see, they are number 1 in 3-pointers made, 3rd in 3-pointers attempted. So like they're jacking them up, man. They're jacking them things up. And when they're falling, you can't beat this team. You really can't. They have a great head coach in Joe Mazzulla. When they are hitting those threes, 23s last night, you're not going to win. I assure you, you cannot beat the Boston Celtics if they hit 23s. You can look at all of their losses. I'm sure none of them. I'm sure they did not hit 23s. Look, their last loss, they hit 16. The Minnesota Timberwolves hit 21. That's just the name of the game now. When they beat the Pistons, they hit 23s, 2-11. It's just, you're not going to win basketball games like that. And if they're continuously hitting these, there's not many teams in the NBA that can beat them. The Boston Celtics right now are my number 1 winner of the weekend. They're playing really well. I highly recommend you watching the Boston Celtics. If you enjoy basketball, I highly recommend watching the Boston Celtics because they have a superstar in Jaylen Brown. I'm not afraid to call him that. And they have Derek White, who's finally awoken because he's been horrible all year. They're a fun watch. They're a very fun watch. Now, my next winner of the weekend, haven't talked about him. The Detroit Pistons, my team. The Detroit Pistons won 2 games over the weekend. It was on a back-to-back situation as well. They beat the Portland Trailblazers, and I mean they were down 5 points with a minute left, and they came back and won. On the back of Cade Cunningham, clutch player of the year for sure. The Pistons sit on the top of the East still, and they also beat the Milwaukee Bucks. They got the revenge game on Saturday. They only won by 12. The game wasn't close. It was just the third stringers in there. When the game was over, they were up by 25. They got Duncan Robinson back on Friday, and yeah, I mean, they're just a much better team when they have Duncan Robinson on this team. When Duncan was out, yeah, they have no spacing. They're getting zoned to death, and it wasn't working. But you guys can see it. I mean, point blank, period. Even when Duncan is having a bad game, like I'm showing you here, 7 points, 1 for 6 from deep, even when he's having a bad shooting night, the amount of gravity that Duncan Robinson demands at the 3-point line is absurd. And I'll tell you the main reason of success, why the Pistons are turning it around right now. When Asar Thompson was on the court, right? When the Pistons were on that 13-game winning streak, they were playing through Asar Thompson a lot and having Cade come off ball, right? When Asar went out and he was missing a few games because of his ankle sprain, when he came back, the Pistons were not doing what they were doing during their win streak. They were just forcing Cade to dribble the air out of the ball. Well, it seems like JB Bickerstaff also realized that because he's completely changed it again. Now Asar Thompson is handling the ball way more again. Now Asar Thompson is running the offense. Now Asar Thompson and Cade Cunningham are killing zones because if you play Cade off ball, they can't zone. Asar Thompson doesn't put up gaudy stats, but 13 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds, plus 14, 6 for 7 from the field. That is all you need out of Asar Thompson. An all-around beautiful game. Tobias Harris was missing last 2 nights ago. He was missing against the Bucks, right? And Isaiah Stewart, in my opinion, this should be the starting lineup right here. These 5. It should be Dunk. It should be Asar. It should be Isaiah Stewart, Jalen Duren, and Cade Cunningham. You cannot zone against the Pistons if you play Cade off ball. It's a great question, TikTok. You can't, because we'll put Cade in the center, and the center is the weakest point of a zone. So when they give the ball to Cade that's sitting at the free throw line, he's got an easy pull up. That's automatic for Cade. He doesn't miss mid-rangers. Or Cade is the point guard, so he's got crazy vision. So when he's in the center of the key, he can easily pass the ball out to a Duncan or an Isaiah Stewart who's open on the 3-point line. It's amazing. They got crazy defense. All they need is their offense to start clicking. And right now I think they just squeezed into the top. Yeah, they're number 8 in the advanced metrics for offensive efficiency, which is great because they weren't top 10 at all. And now they're clicking. They got Karis LeVert off the bench, who's honestly been pretty good. He's been good. Javonte Green's put in work. Ron Holland had his worst game in a while. He shot 0 for 8. That's crazy because Ron Holland the previous 3 games was getting 17 to 19 points. Jaden Ivey with another good game in limited minutes, 16 minutes, 10 points, 3 for 4 shooting. My scary thing is about Jaden Ivey is that it doesn't look like he knows how to dribble anymore. Every time he has the ball and he puts the ball on the floor, it's basically a turnover. Like he literally falls over himself. I don't have an opinion on Jaden Ivey yet. I can't form one. He hasn't played in 11 months. It's been 326 days since Jaden Ivey was on the basketball court. I'll tell you this much. Jaden Ivey's 3-point line, automatic right now. He's not missing threes. 3 for 3 from Jaden Ivey this game. He's been hitting those threes, man. So shout out Jaden Ivey. As long as he can get his finishing, you could truly see a Cade Cunningham, Asar Thompson, Jaden Ivey, Isaiah Stewart. I hope and pray that JB Bickerstaff sees what this team can do, because I love Tobias Harris. I love what Tobias has done. He's been the key turnaround. He's been a key part of this turnaround for the Pistons. But I think you got to start Duren and Stu next to each other. I love Tobias, but Stu and Duren, when they're on the court, you can't score on them, and Stu's bringing you shooting. I need to see Tobias come off the bench and be that spark plug that the Pistons could use, because right now, Duren and Stu, when they're on the court, they're always positive. Always in the plus minus. They're always they're always positive. So, again, Pistons are the second winner of the weekend. Now, mind you, we got way more losers than we do winners this weekend, y'all. My final winner of the weekend are the New York Knicks. They obviously went 2-0 over the weekend. Big wins against Orlando without Franz now. And then Jazz, they killed them. They did what they were supposed to do. Now, unfortunately, there weren't many teams I could choose as winners. But the main reason I picked them as winners is because of what the advanced metrics say for the New York Knicks. In the last 30 days of basketball, the Knicks are number 2 in offensive efficiency. They're number 2 in 3-point percentage. They're number 2 in paint points. And the New York Knicks right now are just on a roll. They've realized that Mikal Bridges is way better of a basketball player than we were led on to believe. They've realized that Mikal Bridges is one of arguably the truest and one of the best 3-and-D wings in the NBA right now, who doesn't touch the ball nearly enough as he should. Karl-Anthony Towns is still Karl-Anthony Towns. They'll trade him every day of the week for a Giannis Antetokounmpo, so I'm not going to hype up Karl-Anthony Towns, but Jalen Brunson has been their key to their success, and he will continue to lead them to success so long as he can stay healthy. I don't think there's many teams that are going to stop the New York Knicks from making it into the finals this year. I don't think there's many teams. I don't think there's many. That's what I can say about the New York Knicks. I mean, when you got Jalen Brunson, when you got a Mikal Bridges and an OG Anunoby leading the perimeter, and you got a Karl-Anthony Towns for down low and on the perimeter, I mean, that's a very tough team to beat. You guys know me. I'm not a fan of the Knicks. I don't like the Knicks. I don't like them at all. But I do like watching good basketball. And I will be honest, Jalen Brunson, I see you. You're not top 30 in free throws attempted, and I think that's great. I think that's great. Okay. Yeah, their bench is way better than it was last year. And part of the reason is because Mike Brown actually plays their bench. They got consistent production from their bench players this season. And I think that's going to go a long way in the playoffs. Huck Porty's good. Obviously, they got Deuce. They're still missing Landry Shamet, who was turning up for him. And then Jordan Clarkson, I didn't like this signing, to be honest. I did not like this signing. 0-5, 0-4. It's like he's either shooting 4 for 4 or he's shooting 0 for 5. There's no difference. I do love the energy that the TikTok is putting out right now. They said the Pistons can stop them. That's what Beast Gaming said. And then Steven also said Pistons are better than the Knicks, in my opinion. Hey, man, I'm a Pistons fan, and I'll tell you, that might be a little bit... I'm not going as far as to say that. Are the Pistons on top of them in the conference? Sure. Did the Pistons lose to them in 6 games last season? Yes. Is it a different season? Absolutely. I'm always going to root for my Pistons, but yeah, I'm not quite ready to say. I'm not ready to say that. Not ready to say that. If you guys are enjoying the stream right now, TikTok, YouTube, be sure to swing on into the Twitch stream. It's a much better experience over here. That's where all of the enjoyment comes. Where if your guys' team sucks, if your guys' team is good, if you guys just want to talk hoops with other educated people, be sure to swing on into the Twitch stream, ladies and gents. It's Jay-Z Uncut. There's the link in my bio. Be sure to swing on in. Okay. It's a much better experience than the TikTok. We've already talked about Joel Embiid. So if you missed it, be here at 9 a.m. Eastern. What are your thoughts on Beasley not signing with y'all? He's not cleared yet. He's not cleared. He's going to some country. He's not cleared. I don't know. I don't really have any thoughts on it. He's not cleared from the NBA. All right. Let's go on with our losers of the weekend, guys. Again, if you're enjoying the stream, if you're enjoying the podcast, tune into the Twitch stream. Jay-Z Uncut. The link is in my bio. We stream these Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. Our first loser of the weekend is the Miami Heat. Now, I talked about this before I started the episode today, and I hate to say it, but every time I make the Miami Heat a winner of the weekend, they end up sucking after I do that. I'll take the blame because every time I give credit to the Miami Heat, they end up showing me that they're really not that good and they're not a serious basketball team. They've dropped 3 games straight, 2 of them to like some of the worst teams in the NBA, and the Dallas Mavericks, the Orlando Magic, and the Sacramento Queens. Now, I have a couple Heat fans in the Twitch chat, and one of them is not going to show his face until they win a game. He's not going to show his face until they win a game. That's just the way he is. The other one is honest with me and tells me what a well, he is biased, but he tells me what he doesn't want to admit, right? And that is plain and simple. It's consistency with Khalil Ware, right? It's the lack of motion now offensively. They're not moving nearly as well, right? Mr. Miami in the TikTok stream, he said, injuries are running it right now. They are not, sir. I'm sorry. You guys were missing Davion Mitchell and Tyler Hero last night. Is it last night or 2 nights ago? Whatever. But you still have Norman Powell. You still have Bam Adebayo. You guys say that Bam Adebayo is a top 3 center in the NBA. Okay, if he's a top 3 center, then you should not be losing by 16 to the Sacramento Kings. You guys hype up Khalil Ware. You guys hype up Norman Powell. They should be an all-star. You cannot blame injuries on losing to the Sacramento Kings. On top of that, Simone Fontecchio gave you his career game, 20 points. You're not going to get another 20-point game from Simone Fontecchio. I'm a Pistons fan. I can tell you right now, that's a career game for Simone Fontecchio. This guy you're not going to get another game out of that. Jaime Jaquez at 27 points. They had no ball movement. This is without Tyler Hero as well. And their motion offense, seems that teams have figured it out. It seems that teams have figured out their motion offense. Your top 3 center in the league right now had 9.7 rebounds. He was a minus 17, 0 for 3 from deep. Regardless of injuries, exactly what my man Newsom said in the Twitch stream. They should still be beating these trash teams. They should. That's no disrespect to the actually, it's all disrespect to the Sacramento Kings. I'm sorry. You allowed Zach LaVine to drop 42 on your dome. And a guy named Neek Clifford. I must be a casual because I've never heard of this guy. Neek Clifford dropped 15 off the bench on 7 for 8 shooting. The Miami Heat right now, right, are looking like the team that I expected them to be this year. Okay? Jaime Jaquez is definitely my 6th man of the year. Absolutely. But you have Bam Adebayo, Andrew Wiggins, Khalil Ware, Norman Powell, Jaime Jaquez, and then you get a career game out of Simone Fontecchio. You're not supposed to lose this. You're not supposed to lose this. You're not. I'm going to keep silent about the Miami Heat right now. Are the Kings hurt? Yeah, who are the Kings missing? The Kings were missing Dennis Schroeder, DeMontis Sabonis. Yeah. Yeah, you guys, no excuses. I'm sorry, but no injury. Unless you guys are missing your entire starting lineup, you should not be losing this. You should not. Yeah, and then let's go to the Mavericks loss. Let's go to the Mavericks loss. Pretty good game overall, but then you allowed Cooper Flag to go for 22. Clay having a career night, 17. D'Angelo Russell, 10 points. Anthony Davis, 17 and 17. Yeah, man, that's tough. That's tough. Still rooting for the Heat. Still am. But unfortunately for them, it seems that teams have figured out their offensive scheme. Tyler Hero, I know a lot of people are coming in and saying that Tyler Hero is not the reason that we're losing. He's not the reason that we suck. Tyler Hero is one of our best players. He's not the reason. I'm just going to be up in front and honest with everybody here. Let's stop looking at the box score. Let's stop looking at the stats. You guys have started to play different when Tyler Hero returned. You guys didn't have Tyler Hero last night, but you were still playing as if there was Tyler Hero on the court. Tyler Hero thrives off of pick and roll, right? The NBA, out of the all 30 teams, the Miami Heat were running the least amount of pick and rolls in the entire NBA. Now when Tyler Hero came back, all of a sudden you guys are running pick and rolls again. So even though Tyler Hero was out last night, or out on Saturday, even though he was out, now Norman Powell's getting pick and rolls. This is not a pick and roll team. You guys were not doing pick and rolls. So I don't know what's happened, but it's changed. Mr. Miami in the TikTok stream said, if you know Spo, you know it doesn't stay the same the whole year. It always changes. I'm not worried. He says he's not worried, guys. The TikTok says he is not worried. Yeah, I'd say you guys missed Davion Mitchell more than Tyler Hero in the last game. That's for sure. Let's move on. Let's move on to my next loser of the weekend. And that is the Toronto Raptors. Holy, man. Holy. Guys, another team has lost 3 in a row. Another team, dude, it's so funny when I talk unbiased, right? I don't hate the Miami Heat. I don't hate the Toronto Raptors. I do not hate these basketball teams. I do not hate them. What I do hate is constant propaganda, constant BS. Okay? On Friday's episode, you guys saw me. That podcast got extended to over an hour long because I was arguing with Toronto Raptors fans. Raptors fans are telling me that Brandon Ingram can be a number 1 on a team. They were telling me, and I quote, Brandon Ingram is the number 1 on this team. And I said, Brandon Ingram, he's going to be your number 1? And I was taken back because then I went back and I was looking through his playoff. I was looking at his playoff career, right? And 4 years ago, he averaged 27 points per game in 6 games of the playoffs. And they were telling me that was important. I'm like, 4 years ago, Trae Young was in the Eastern Conference. 4 years ago, John Morant was good at basketball. 4 years ago, we were wearing masks. You want to go back 4 years ago? Because last year, he was averaging 14 points in the playoffs. 37% shooting from 3. 40% shooting from the field. If this guy's your number 1, whew, They lost to the Lakers. They lost to the Hornets. Shout out my Hornets fans. And they lost to the Celtics last night. I'll be honest, they came back in that game against the Celtics, but then they just choked it again once Boston started hitting threes. They lost to the Hornets, guys. They lost to the Charlotte Hornets. Emmanuel Quickley was their leading scorer. Brandon Ingram had 7 points. They allowed Miles Bridges to go for 15. Brandon Miller go for 12. Con Knuppel leading the charge with 21 points. They allowed Salon, whatever his name is. I think it's Salon. He dropped 21 points off the bench. Yeah, we know. LaMelo is LaMelo Ball. He's always going to get hurt. Yeah, Salon. So when I say that the Toronto Raptors, they're a good team. They are a good team. They're better than last year. It just hurts me when I see Raptors fans saying that Brandon Ingram's their number one. Scotty Barnes, his average is down to 20. His average just keeps on dropping every game. By the end of the season, he's going to be under a 20-point per game scorer. As long as his 3-point percentage keeps up and he increases those attempts, I'm not worried about the Raptors. The only worrisome things about them is that they are a poopy 3-point shooting team. They are a very bad 3-point shooting team. That's coming from a Pistons fan. We are horrible at shooting threes. But they are poopy. They're not good at shooting from distance. Now, for my final loser of the weekend, I got to be honest. I grouped up 3 teams in here. One of them we already talked about. But I got 3 teams that we got to talk about. We've already passed a quarter of the way into the season. So you should take more stock in these losers than the other losers, because the other losers, they're just cold streaks. It happens to the best of us, right? You should take more stock into these losers that I have up next. All right. We already talked about them at the start of the season. We already talked about them. And, we already talked about them at the start of this episode. We're going to start with the Orlando Magic, right? Out of this group. They lost Franz Wagner. We already talked extensively about that. We already talked extensively about them, but they lost Franz Wagner, and this could mean their season's over. So for that, they have to be, I'm not going to talk too much about the Orlando Magic because we already talked for like 15 minutes about the Orlando Magic at the start of this podcast. So we're going to move on to our next loser, our very next loser. And that is the Chicago Bulls. I just got to go over something for y'all. It's going to make y'all giggle. It's going to make y'all giggle, okay? Unless you're a Bulls fan. Let's just look at this schedule. The Chicago Bulls have lost 7 straight. Mind you, this is all after I had all of these Chicago Bulls fans in the TikTok stream coming at me, throwing tomatoes at me for saying that their 5-game win streak was not real. They were lucky their opponents were shooting league worst since the 1980s against them. Look at these losses. They lost to the New Orleans Pelicans. Okay. Worst team in the league. They lost to the Charlotte Hornets. Bottom 3 team in the league. They lost to the Indiana Pacers. Bottom 3 team in the league. They lost to the Orlando Magic. That's respectable. They lost to the Brooklyn Nets. Bottom team in the league. They lost to the Indiana Pacers again. And then you see Golden State, right? You see Golden State. And then you think like, oh, it's fine. They lost to Golden State. Guys, they didn't lose to Golden State. Whatever Golden State's G League team is what they lost to. Because in this game, the Golden State Warriors were starting Quinton Post, Buddy Hield, Will Richard, and Pat Spencer, and Jimmy Butler. But look at these minutes that were scattered. Gary Payton II, D'Anthony Melton, who they just got back, who's really a key component to this team's success. Moses Moody, Guy Santos, Trace Jackson Davis, and Brandon Pods. They gave up 21 points to Pods, man. Pods looked like an NBA player last night, y'all. He looked like an NBA player last night. You know how hard it is? I mean this with all due respect. Do you know how hard it is to make Brandon Pods look like an NBA player? Well, the Chicago Bulls managed to do it. They managed to do it because let me just show you what they managed, what they pulled. Dude, can we have a serious conversation about Matas Buzelis? I love Matas. You know what his biggest problem is on the court? Not being on it. not being on it. Have you guys watched the Bulls? And I mean, like, seriously, watched the Bulls. If Montes Buzelis does one thing wrong, Billy Donovan yanks him. He does one thing wrong. Let's say Montes takes a three and he misses. Billy Donovan's yanking him. Let's say he doesn't swing the ball one time. Billy Donovan's yanking him. This team's energy right now, listen to these stats. Montes Buzelis, 7 for 12. Nikola Vucevic, Vucci baby, Vucci main, 4 for 13. Kobe White, 3 for 10. Ayo Dosunmu, 1 for 6. Josh the Giddy Giddler, 6 for 15. Javon Carter, who I hate watching, 4 for 8. Patrick Williams, what do you do? What do you do? 1 for 6. Zach Collins, who? 1 for 7. Dalen Terry, who? Lachlan Olbrich, who? Trenton Flowers, who the hell are these people? Guys, I watch basketball every day. This is my job. Who the hell? Emmanuel Miller? Hello? The Chicago Bulls, not one of them looks like they want to play basketball right now. Just go ahead and watch this team. Just go ahead and watch this team. I have a fun stat for you guys. It's not going to be fun if you're a Bulls fan, okay? Any Bulls fans in the audience? Do we have any? Twitch, TikTok, YouTube? Do we have any Bulls fans? Because I have a very fun stat for y'all. You ready? Jimmy Butler, right? Jimmy Butler, in his tenure with the Bulls, you guys remember Jimmy Butler on the Bulls, right? You guys remember that? He said, Bulls fan for life. Okay, here we go. Jimmy Butler, right? Since Jimmy has not been on... Okay, so Jimmy was on the team for 6 years, okay? Jimmy was on the Chicago Bulls for 6 years. They managed to get 279 wins with Jimmy Butler in those 6 seasons. That's really good. Without Jimmy Butler for the last 8 years, they still haven't won as many games. They have won 273 games without Jimmy Butler in the last 8 years. Now, when I tell you that this team right now, right? When I tell you this Chicago Bulls team, it starts from the top. Jerry Reinsdorf, we hate you, right? Billy Donovan, we hate you. I can't keep doing this with the Chicago Bulls. I can't keep dunking on them because it's so depressing seeing over and over and over again, right? Having to see Bulls fans just go through this. I can't deal with it anymore. Yeah, here's the actual statistic. Jimmy Butler back in the United Center last night. The Bulls won 276 games in the 6 seasons he was on the roster. They have won 275 games in the 8 seasons and counting since he's been gone. So it's not really a fun stat, but it is definitely a stat. The Bulls won 379 games with Derrick Rose on the roster, and they've won 316 games since he's been gone. Derrick Rose has been off this roster since what, 2015? It's been 10 years, and they still haven't won the amount of games that Derrick Rose won with them. Is my guy Jerry from the last Dak Doc still in charge? Not Jerry Krause, but Jerry Reinsdorf is still the same owner. Now, we all know. Yo, I have a genuine question. What does Billy Donovan have on ownership? What does he have? What does Billy Donovan know that we don't? What does he know? There's no reason this guy is still the head coach. There's no reason. that Billy Donovan is still the head coach of the Chicago Bulls. Absolutely no reason. He needs to be fired. They got to trade everybody, man. Just blow it up. Blow it up. And they never will. They're going to trade for Anthony Davis. Let's move on to our final loser of the weekend, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Woo! They lost to the Golden State Warriors, or should I say, Pat Spencer. Pat Spencer in his first career start got 19 points. Now, this one's embarrassing. This is more embarrassing than the Bulls losing to the Warriors. They didn't have Jimmy Butler. They didn't have Draymond Green. They didn't have Stephen Curry. They didn't have Al Horford. They didn't have DeAnthony Melton. So they were missing their entire starting lineup. They had Jonathan Kuminga, who got yanked and stopped playing. Yo, we got to talk about Jonathan Kuminga. I think I'll save it for tomorrow's episode if we do talk about the Warriors. We got to talk about Jonathan Kuminga. I think we got to do like trade packages and like talk about stuff because this is not right. Jonathan Kuminga is literally getting pulled and not playing. We'll talk about Jonathan Kuminga another time in this week when we talk about the Warriors. But yeah, man, I mean, the Cleveland Cavaliers right now are looking horrible. Can we be honest right now? Like the Cavs look awful. Was Ty Jerome, Karis LeVert, and who's the other guy that they, Ty Jerome, Karis LeVert, who's the other guy that they let go? Anybody? I can't really remember. And they're still obvious, Gorgie Niang, and they're still missing Max Strus, right? Yo, were they that important to this team? What is going on? So I told y'all an interesting stat about the Cleveland Cavaliers, right? I told y'all an interesting stat. I think I said this 2 weeks ago. I said the Cleveland Cavaliers right now can only win when Donovan Mitchell drops 35 points in a game. Go ahead, look through all of their games, and look at how many games they win when Donovan Mitchell doesn't drop 35 plus. Yeah, Kuminga didn't play last night. Sorry, I know I moved on from that topic. He just straight up did not play him. Did not play DNP. There's a reason they don't want to give him the contract. There's a reason they don't want to give it to him. Like, they're straight not playing Jonathan Kuminga right now, which is disgusting. Too good of a player to just be not playing. Now, I got to just show y'all this again, man. The Cavs suck. The Cavs suck. They're not good. They're not a good basketball team. Evan Mobley has not gotten better. I thought this was going to be the year that he leaps. He's not. He's leaping backwards. Darius Garland, I don't know what the hell's going on with you, man. I don't know. Donovan Mitchell, dude, I'm sorry. Yeah, DeAndre Hunter, that's what you get. You either get 30 points from DeAndre Hunter or 6. That's what you get. Dean Wade, yep, 1 for 5. Naquan Tomlin, worst game of the season, 3 for 10. Craig Porter Jr., 0 for 4. Thomas Bryant, 0 for 4. I'll say this again about the Cleveland Cavaliers. I've said this so many times throughout the season, but they're just not a good basketball team. Something's wrong. Something is wrong because I said the Cleveland Cavaliers could win 70 games this regular season. 70 games. And nobody would care because it matters what they do in the playoffs, right? You would argue that they had arguably one of the best benches in the league. Dude, and then the Cavs fans are going to tell me, we're missing Jared Allen. Who cares? Respectfully, who cares? Jared Allen's going to beat the hobbled Warriors with no starter on the team? I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a great question. Solo in the Twitch stream. If you guys are enjoying the stream, you would enjoy the Twitch stream much, much more over here. He said, too late to trade Garland. Teams know now that his toe is horrendous. Yeah. Yeah. I love this comment from the Marked Goat in the Twitch stream. If you guys do want your comments read on stream, be sure to come through to the Twitch stream. Cavs are just a bunch of guys. They aren't really a team. I love this point as well from Newsom in the Twitch stream. I don't know if they can afford to trade Garland. He makes their offense go, and that's point blank period. Point blank period. Donovan Mitchell, listen, he's a ball stopper. He is a ball stopper. Ball stopper. Darius Garland's the one that gets Mobley set up. Without Darius Garland, Mobley would be averaging 10 points per game. I thank you, Mr. Miami. Mr. Miami, I would love for you to come to the Twitch stream. Everybody else, come through to the Twitch stream. The link is in my bio. Jay-Z Uncut. He pulled the stat for me. He said, according to Google, the Cavs have won 5 games of their 14 where Donovan scores less than 35. And that could be 34. That could be 33. That could be 32, 31, 30. Just so we're all clear here. The Cavs they have not been a good basketball team. I think they can still turn it around. I didn't think Max Strus and Ty Jerome were this important to the team, but apparently they are. Apparently they are, guys. And we'll see. We'll see. Like, my biggest issue, sorry, let me bring that up because I want to keep talking about it for a little bit more. My biggest issue right now with the Cleveland Cavaliers is the fact that they just don't look good. You know what I mean? Like, stats are one thing, right? We can all look at stats. We can all argue this. We can argue that. We can argue about all this stuff. Ty Jerome, I don't think has played. I think he got hurt in the preseason. He looked great against the Pistons in the preseason, but I don't think he's played yet. Allen and Garland for Giannis. If I'm the Bucks, I'm hanging up. Yeah, oh my Lord, I'm doing more than hanging up. I'm breaking my phone in half. I'd like to give a special shout out to Kai, the library guy, for leaving the TikTok stream and coming through to the Twitch stream. Kai, the library guy. I like that name a lot. Big shout out to you for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. How easy was that? All you did was click my profile picture and click the link in my bio. Welcome. Welcome. Even when they're fully healthy, they don't look as dominant as last year. I mean, Garland doesn't look good. You know, he's not running right. His like stop and start is not what Darius Garland looks like. And Donovan Mitchell straight up, like, dude, are we really expecting this guy? Are we really expecting this guy to just drop 35 every single night and then take you into the playoffs and still drop 35 to 40 every night? This is not good longevity wise. And for them, I pray that Donovan Mitchell does not get hurt, because if he does, this team, yikes. Yikes. Yeah, they're not fully healthy. That's a big component. That's a big component. I'm going to read what Kai, the library guy, came into the Twitch stream and said, because it's a long message. He said, I'm probably going to get ripped for this, but ever since LeBron left, I'm assuming Cleveland, they haven't been able to pick up the pieces and make a cohesive team. You know, I feel like the Cavs did really well at getting a bunch of players. And that's why I think I really agree with Mark in the Twitch stream. He said that they've got talent, they've gathered talent, but they haven't been able to get cohesive parts to make it an actual well-oiled machine, you know? Like, they have good players. They have good individual players, but they're not working. I think that's my dream, Kevin. Well, I have 2 dreams, Kevin. It's for you to come into the Twitch stream. And I think my dream is to genuinely see Donovan Mitchell in a Miami Heat jersey. I don't know how that would work, because again, Bam Adebayo is sort of like an Evan Mobley. I'll take Bam Adebayo over Evan Mobley every day of the week, but I'm saying he's not going to be giving Bam the ball. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's the struggle here, man. I already talked about the Miami Heat, so I won't be going into them any further. But yeah, man, it's just not working. Same problem that Donovan Mitchell had in Utah. Exactly. I think this team, this is what Newsom said in the Twitch stream. He said, I think this team is solid, but they have to move on from Garland or Allen. What's that one taco commercial? Why not both? Why not both? It's crazy. It's crazy. Okay, this is the last thing I'm going to respond, and then we're going to move on. Because, yeah, we've talked about this being the loser for too long. I mean, it was a longer segment. Kai in the Twitch stream said, do you ever think Ja Morant would have fit in Cleveland? No. Easy. You made that last one easy for me. Thank you. I see people asking about the Bucks. I already talked about them earlier. Since it's the end of the podcast, I might as well give you grace and help you out. Love in the TikTok said, I'm a Bucks fan. I'm sorry, first and foremost. Now, what do you do in our situation? Do we just blow it up? Yeah, absolutely. That's all. That's all. Kevin, my man, shout out to you for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. Kevin and my man, Mr. Miami, my GOAT, Mr. Miami. Shout out to both of you guys for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. Stick around, and I'll talk to you guys in a second because we are ending today's episode. Podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. And be sure to tune in live because we do this Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Guys, if you're watching on the YouTube, be sure to subscribe. If you're watching on the TikTok, hit that little follow button, hit the little heart. And if you guys want more stream, be sure to swing on into the Twitch because we're still live on Twitch. Click the profile picture at the top. Click the link in my bio. Love, Malcolm, and Will. Thanks for the follows on TikTok. I wish to see you in the Twitch stream where we're live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. All right? TikTok, we're going to head on out of here. Podcast, we're going to head on out of here. I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your day. Again, we will be live tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. Be sure to leave your 5-star ratings and reviews. Drop a like. I appreciate y'all very, very much. And I got nothing left to say, y'all, except Twitch, stick around. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And as always, guys, thank you for watching/listening. I'll catch y'all tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern.